The performance that Kendrick Lamar gave at the halftime show of Super Bowl 59 on February 9, 2025, has sparked a raging discussion among fans, reviewers, and members of the general public. Others have referred to it as one of the most underwhelming halftime presentations in recent memory, despite the fact that other people have commended his talent and daring that he displayed. In this video, we discuss many aspects of Lamar's performance that have been subject to criticism are dissected, and the expectations, execution, and aftermath of the event are also investigated. Number 10. High expectations and cultural significance. To what extent did Kendrick Lamar's halftime concert successfully increase hip-hop's prominence at the Super Bowl? When Kendrick Lamar became the first solo rapper to lead a halftime concert at the Super Bowl, he bore the responsibility of representing not just himself, but also the whole hip-hop community. Fans were anticipating a performance that would combine his deep lyrical depth with mass appeal in a way that would be seamless, establishing a new standard for halftime presentations in the future. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of this landmark since it represented hip-hop's climb to the highest level of entertainment in the United States. Number 9. A song selection that is controversial. The choice that Lamar made to perform Not Like Us, a diss tune for fellow rapper Drake, was at the center of the criticism that was directed at him. There was some controversy around the inclusion of the song in the halftime show, despite the fact that it had received a lot of attention and acclaim, including a number of Grammy Awards. It has been argued by critics that the use of the Super Bowl platform to voice personal concerns has diminished the universality that is anticipated from performances of this kind. According to the publication Vox, Kendrick Lamar performed at the Super Bowl 59 halftime show, focusing more on his recent feud with Drake rather than political commentary. Number 8. Opportunities to communicate with a wider audience that were abandoned. Lamar has, throughout his career, made use of significant venues in order to address urgent social and political concerns. On the other hand, his appearance at the Super Bowl was notable for the absence of any overt political commentary, which was a change from his past accomplishments. Due to this absence, many viewers were left with the impression that he had missed a chance to make a dramatic message, which is particularly significant in light of the current political context. This move was brought to light by Vox, which said, despite his history of using big stages to address social issues, Lamar avoided explicit political messages. Number 7. Guest appearances and their impact. Both tennis star Serena Williams and actor Samuel L. Jackson made cameos throughout the performance. Jackson played a satirical version of Uncle Sam, while Williams did a dance routine. Some reviewers believe that these additions were fragmented and did not contribute to the main storyline of the program in a way that was coherent despite the fact that they contributed star power. According to a report by the New York Post, the response was mixed. The newspaper said that while the presentation included stunning graphics, it was evident that Lamar had transitioned from his previous, more contentious approach to a more polished and generally accepted image. Number 6. The reaction of the audience and the criticism. Would you say that Kendrick Lamar's performance in the Super Bowl was the most disappointing one ever? There was a divided reaction in the early aftermath of the event. Although there were many who praised Lamar's creative choices, there were also others who turned to social media and online forums to vent their dissatisfaction. A Reddit user observed that Kendrick's Super Bowl performance was straight-up trash, one of the worst halftime shows of all time. There was a portion of the crowd who felt let down by the performance, and these comments represent that group. Number 5. NFL's regret and apology. In addition to the controversy, it was reported that the National Football League NFL had issued an apology to the rapper Lil Wayne for passing him up in favor of Lamar. This was particularly significant when considering the fact that the event was hosted in New Orleans, which is Lil Wayne's hometown. The newspaper The Sun said that the NFL has expressed regret over selecting Kendrick Lamar instead of Lil Wayne for the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans. Following the disclosure of this information, arguments ensued on whether or not the league had made a mistake in the selection process. Number 4. Technical considerations and production decisions. The staging and choreography, which are generally associated with performances at the Super Bowl, were criticized by some viewers as missing the grandeur that is typically associated with such events. An audience that was anticipating a more extravagant spectacle did not respond well to the minimalist approach, even if it may have been on purpose from an artistic standpoint. It was pointed out by some that the performance, albeit being rich in story and originality, could have been too quiet for the enormous platform that the Super Bowl provides. Number 3, comparison to previous halftime shows. When compared to previous performances by musicians such as Prince, Beyoncé, and Michael Jackson, the concert that Lamar put on was seen by some to be lacking in excitement. Due to the fact that these predecessors had established high standards with their dramatic and widely attractive performances, the reaction that Lamar's presentation received was more critical in contrast. The history of previous acts was emphasized by the New York Post, which said that Super Bowl halftime shows have become legendary over the years, with both unforgettable performances and significant flops. That is a statement that highlights the legacy of previous presentations. Number 2, when it comes to artistic integrity versus mass appeal. The challenge of striking a balance between being faithful to one's artistic vision and appealing to a varied audience during the Super Bowl is one of the most significant tensions in the critique. Although it is admirable that Lamar is so dedicated to his creative vision, it is possible that his dedication did not align with the expectations of the larger audience, which was looking for an experience that was both inclusive and entertaining. In light of this duality, issues are raised about the function of personal expression in the context of mass entertainment events. Number 1, implications for the long term for halftime shows. Will the criticism that Kendrick Lamar has received affect his performance in the Super Bowl in the future? The contrasting responses to Lamar's performance may have an impact on the selection of halftime shows in the future, with the National Football League (NFL) perhaps selecting musicians who are seen to be less divisive. On one of the greatest stages in the world, this occurrence draws attention to the difficulties that arise when attempting to strike a balance between creative expression and the expectations of a huge audience. The National Football League (NFL) has expressed sadness about the decision, which may indicate a potential change in the way that future stars are selected. Love content like this? Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss an update.